Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Silvermachine from my good friend Chris at Jupiter Effects. Jupiter Effects are a really cool pedal company based out of the very north of Germany, run by a guy who I'm very good friends with called Chris Jupiter. You've probably seen Chris in my 42 Gear Street vlogs, and I also did a demo of another pedal of his called the Kaleidoscope around about this time last year. So I first met Chris at the 2020 42 Gear Street, and obviously I was back there this year in 2021 at 42 Gear Street at Henning's house, and Chris was there again. We hung out, we had a great time. And he gave me this pedal to take away and demo. He knew I'd really fallen for this one the first year, but I didn't get my hands on one. So he made sure I got one this time round. So this isn't a paid demo, but Chris has given me this pedal, which I will be keeping as well. So the Silvermachine is a really cool octave up fuzz pedal. So I'm a big fan of Octave Fuzzes. It's a sort of a tone I really gravitate towards. I'm a big Hendrix fan. I love that kind of 60s, 70s Octavia vibe. So if you know anything about Jupiter Effects, you'll know that what Chris does is always based on a classic idea, but with a bit of a twist. It's like an Octavia with a Jupiter twist. So it's a very simple design. There's no buffer in this. It's a straight through unbuffered Octave Fuzz. 2 gain stages, input gain and output gain. Very simple. You push how hard it goes in and how hard it comes out. And the big control in the middle is a master volume. So in the lower settings, if you sort of dial in less input gain and more output gain, or more input gain, less output gain, you can get different fuzz textures. And as you crank both of these, you start to get into different flavors and different textures of the octave up being added as well. There's a couple of different dip switches inside which allow you to take off some top end from the octave as well. I've not messed with those because I think this sounds pretty cool out of the box. You'll also notice there's no LED on this pedal. When I asked Chris about that, because most pedals have an LED, he said that this pedal doesn't need an LED because basically you're going to know when this thing is on. Once you switch this on, you will know. Runs off your standard 9-volt adapter. I think it draws like 100 milliamps of current, so it's pretty low sort of usage. You could easily integrate this into a pretty big pedal board. But the casing is really cool. So it's this brushed metal finish. Now, when this was actually on display at Gear Street, this, believe it or not, was actually completely clean and completely silver. So Chris designs these cases so that when you actually touch the case, the finish of the case and the sort of sweat and acid in your hands oxidizes, and it causes it to actually rust and relic. So no two Silvermachine pedals ever look the same, because each one will sort of rust and age in a slightly different way as well. So it's a very cool looking pedal. If you like things to look a little bit industrial and a little bit rough on the edges, this is really cool. But where the magic really lies in this is how this thing sounds. So let's plug this thing in and take a listen. So guitar-wise, I'm going to use a few different guitars in this video so you can really hear what this thing does. So I'm going to start off with my Shergold Provocateur, which is a humbucker and a P90. This is sort of a cross between like a Telly and a Les Paul Jr. kind of vibe. Great sort of rock guitar, very straight up to the point tones. That's plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6, which is mic'd with the Lewitt Audio LCT 440 condenser mic. And on top of the amp, there is the Surfy Industries Surfy Bear Classic Spring Reverb tank. Not that you need much spring reverb when you're playing with an Octave Fuzz. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just show you what the guitar sounds like clean, so you can really hear the difference because, like I said, there's no LED on this thing. So you're gonna know when it gets switched on. So as soon as I hit the button, you can hear a big difference in the tone. So this thing may get a little noisy because it is a unbuffered vintage style fuzz with 2 gain stages. So let's see what happens when we play. Should also mention, I've got both the gain stages set straight to midnight on this one. Probably not going to play around with the master volume too much, purely just for not upsetting the neighbors, but I may, you know, cut or boost that slightly depending on how it feels. So to my ears, there's actually a little bit of a filtery thing going on there as well. When you push the output gain, you get this little kind of filtery sweep. I love the fact that it crackles a little bit as well. That's just sort of one of those things that Chris does when he designs a pedal. There's almost like a phasery thing going on there. And then when you push the input gain, it kind of gets a bit more ring modulator. get that kind of clash of notes. It becomes very dissonant. So in between you get a lot of those cool classic Octavia style sounds. So when it comes to Octavia style pedals, I think the ultimate guitar for this is probably going to be a Strat. So with that said, I'm going to use my Schecter Nick Johnston Strat style guitar, triple single coil. So you all know what a Strat style guitar is going to sound like. A lot less output than the humbuckers on the Shergold. So I've reset the input and output gains now back to roughly midnight. So I'm going to play a bit now on the Strat and we'll see how that sounds. So like most Octavers, this thing doesn't really do chords very well, and you don't really expect it to because it's that sort of octave up Octavia kind of vibe. So one thing you're probably going to be doing when you use a pedal like this, I think that's off. That's off. As Chris said, you will know when this thing's on, which is why it doesn't have an LED. One thing you're probably going to be doing with this is you're not going to be using it in isolation like I am right now. You're probably going to be stacking it with another drive pedal, which is what I'm going to do now. I've just kicked on my Analog Man King of Tone. I've got the high gain mod. So on the red side of the pedal, you're going to hear a slightly higher gain sound, which is this. Obviously, that's not super high gain by most people's standards. It's just like a sort of high bluesy kind of gain. But once we kick this thing in front of it, you're not really going to need much more gain coming from the pedal, trust me. On full gain, it's a bit of an acquired sound there. It gets super compressed, almost that kind of end of the world fuzz kind of thing. But when you stack it with gain, it handles it quite well, I think. So the only thing left to do really is to hear how this stacks with a humbucker guitar. So I'm going to change this Strat slug guitar now for something with some humbuckers. So I'm going to go very traditional. I've got my Stanford Crossroads 35 here. This is like a 335 style twin humbucker guitar with some PAF style pickups. So I've still got the King of Tone on the high gain side, so here's how that sounds. That's very traditional sounding. I've now reset the Silvermachine back to midnight. So now we're going to stack that on top and see how it handles a humbucker loaded 335 style guitar. So, as expected, gets pretty chaotic, but you still get that classic Octavia sound with a few super fuzzy twists. So yeah, I really dig the Silvermachine. That is a really cool pedal. It's right up my street. If you love that kind of vintagey, fuzzy, octave up, sort of rock and blues thing, this is a really cool pedal. So big thanks to Chris for the pedal. Obviously, I've been wanting one of these for a while. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this thing. So you're probably going to see this in a bunch of other videos. I've got some stuff in mind where I want to talk about some Octave Fuzzes and have some fun with that. So yeah, expect to see more of the Silvermachine. There's some links down below to check out Jupiter Effects. Go check out the stuff that Chris is doing. He's doing some super cool stuff. He built some amazing amps, some amazing pedals, and he's just a really cool guy. So please go and support what he is doing. He is just, yeah, he's great. He's a fantastic builder with a great vision for some cool sounds. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of the Silvermachine by Jupiter Effects. Like I said, I love it, but where do you guys stand on Octave Fuzzes? Can't wait to hear what you think about that. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks so much for watching.